strategically. I can get it right. I'm gonna go where the winners go. Sailing ain't an option, no, it ain't in my blood.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic and happy Women's History Month. I am your host, Dr. Elaine, and this is the place where we tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, so what men and women can learn and grow together. We like to say thank you to our regular viewers and welcome to our new viewers. I ask that you press that thumbs up button, which is the like button. You do just like that. Why, I ask? Because it helps to move the show further in these YouTube streets. So we have some disclaimers, right? And the disclaimers is the show is for education and entertainment purposes only. And we have house rules. And what are they? Respect, and again, respect. At this time, I'd like to say welcome to my co-host, Lady Dawn B. So she's in the place to be on Women's History Month. How are you, lady? Welcome. I feel like there should be some claps.
Hey. Happy Monday. I could do it. I'll do it that way. Happy Monday. How you doing, Dr. E? I'm good. As always, I don't want nobody to feel neglected or think that I fell off of my usual because someone may be looking forward to hearing me say it. I'm great because it is one more day closer to Friday. And if nothing else, that always gets me through. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I love this tease of spring, so to speak. You know, we went outside today and I was like, okay, don't overdo it. Still had the scarf around my neck. As I tell my daughter, as long as you protect your neck, you should be fine, because when the weather does the switch, then you're not prepared and you're like, oh, I'm sick, or so on and so forth. So I was loving this weather. I know we only have, I think, one more day and then it's going to change a little bit, but I'll be very excited when spring is sprung.
Yeah.
Yes. So absolutely. And a drum roll.
Come on.
Alrighty then. Let's welcome some of our people in the chat. Let's see who's talking to us. So Anae says, hey, at Bravo with Sheila Network. She said, hey, Dr. Elaine. Hey, Anae. And she said, hey, at Lady Dawn B. And Lady Dawn B says,
listen, we are grateful for the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. She belongs to us and we are letting her go. She is the Ine Kenya in the building.
Thank you, Anae. And it's my season said, hi, ladies. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
And it's my season says, looking forward to tonight. Thank you. And Nadine, hey, Nadine, she said, good evening to all.
Hey.
And Lee is in the building. She said, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lee. Thank you.
Happy Monday, Lee.
And Kathy, hey, Kathy, she said, good evening, everyone. And we will say, even before we get started, to make sure if you have any questions, any comments, please put them in the chat. And we hope that everyone on here already did what? Hit that like button for us. Please. So we want you to subscribe. We want you to tell a friend of me, tell an enemy, tell somebody. Maybe there's some healing that'll take place. What do you think, Lady Dawn?
I think it's possible. We believe. So help us test that theory. How about that?
And hey, Jackie, she said, good evening, everyone. All right. So, at honor of Women's History Month, as we have gone through this or going through this month of March, we want to salute women who have been pioneers in a field. And tonight we're going to do exactly what we've been doing since the month has begun. So, Lady Dawn B, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. E. So tonight, I was going to go somewhere. It's not Thursday. I gotta remember where we at. Tonight, in honor of Women's History, today we salute Ursula Burns, who was born September 20th, 1958 in New York. And she is an American business executive who served as CEO from 2009 to 2016 and chairman from 2010 to 2017 of Xerox Corporation. You go, girl. She was the first African American woman to serve as CEO of a Fortune 500 company and the first female to accede to the position of CEO of such a company in succession after another female. Burns was raised in a low-income housing projects on Manhattan's Lower East Side. Burns earned a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Polytech Institute of New York University in Brooklyn. In the same year, she began pursuing a master's degree in mechanical engineering from Columbia University. In 2009, U.S. President Barack Obama selected her to help lead the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, also known as STEM, Education Coalition, a national alliance of more than 1,000 technological I can't even get it out today. Technological organizations, strategic. Yeah, it was coming. It was coming. I was thinking too much. Technological organizations striving to improve student participation and performance in the aforementioned subject areas through legislative advocacy. In 2021, Burns published her memoir, Where You Are Is Not Who You Are. Oh, I love that. She is 67 years old and is an example of where you start is not where you finish. So we want to salute and say thank you to Ursula Burns. Back to you, Dr. E.
I love that. And I'm also loving that she's from Manhattan. So, just as the New Yorker in me, loving that and coming from the housing development. So I'm just saying, Ursula, and she's still alive. So if you're watching this, Ursula, give us sister a call and you could teach me some things. All right. All right. So tonight I'm excited because we're going to talk about, am I enough? So here's the question. Have you ever found yourself asking the quiet question, am I enough? Enough in my relationship, enough in my career, enough even when you're in a room, enough after everything you've been through. I'm going to pause there. What do you think? Have you ever found yourself asking that question?
You're
In the
asking
chat,
me.
you talk to
You
us?
do.
Yes, I'm asking you. Don't clutch your pearls on me.
Like you, because, oh, child, have I? Have I? Let's see, from 1960. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, so we're going to
Yes,
say the
yes,
answer
I
is
have.
yes.
Right, we just got.
The
Yes.
answer is yes. And I think, for many of us, especially as we get older, so I'm going to say if we're listening, if you're 40 and up, if you're 25 and up, but 50 and up, we've lived long enough to experience love. We've experienced loss. We experienced career changes, disappointment, and renovations, right? I'm sorry. And reinventing ourselves, right? Yet that question can still show up in our hearts. So today, we're talking about the silent pressure to prove ourselves. And I want to say that again, the silent pressure to prove ourselves in relationships, and in the workplace? And how can we move from seeking validation to knowing our value? So here's the question: where does the am I enough question come from? And I'm going to throw some things out and we can think about it. So I want the audience to think and chime in the chat and hit that like button as you're coming in. So is it our childhood? Was it a childhood message, an expectation? Was it a past relationship, wounds or betrayal? Was it workplace comparison? Was it family comparison? Social media and the narratives that they put out. Um, what do you think, Lady Dawn?
Honestly, what comes to mind is the saying that comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm,
And I believe that question of, am I enough, comes from the space of comparison.
mm,
Instead of embracing we're always measuring ourselves against something or someone else to see how we measure up. And when we fall short, then we don't think that we are enough, I believe.
mm. Okay, okay. I think if I had to say, am I enough, that question and where did it come from was probably in past relationships. You know, I think that's where I would probably hang my hat. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I would hang my hat. I don't know if they don't want to talk to us tonight in the chat, or this is one of those, as you always say, this
Oh,
going to be one of those shows. So Greg said he's listening and learning. Hey, Greg, thank you for joining. So, yeah.
welcome, Greg.
And Reginald says, aloha, always teasing us because he's in Hawaii. Hope everyone is doing well. Ovation and happy Women's Day to all the women holding it down. All right, all right. And Tamara, she said, hey, ladies. Hey, T. So I'm going to ask the question just in case people are chiming in. Where does the am I enough question come from? If you've ever questioned, were you enough? Did it come from childhood messages, past relationships, workplace comparison, family comparison, social media? Or are you this perfectionist or a people pleaser? That's another level or layer, I should say, to it. So, am I enough? I stated
Mm-hmm.
mine came from past relationships. And Lady Dawn said comparison.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
you are correct. Yes, you are
Okay.
definitely. Oh, hold on. We got some
Hey,
action happening
Debbie.
here.
She said, hi there and blessings. Thank you for joining us. Uh-oh. Mike is in the building. Hey, Mike. He said it comes from insecurity. Okay. All right. So when you ask the question, if you've ever asked that question to yourself quietly, am I enough? Am I enough? And that's what that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So who taught us directly or indirectly to question our worth?
That's a good question. I think that comes for initially would be home. You know, our parents, try to speak life or did their best to speak life into us, or some, because everyone is not raised in the same type of environment. Some were talked down upon, some of us. So I think it begins with our parents or whoever raised us. raised us, and then it extends to those of us who were in our home environment, because how here oftentimes our parents to us, we all start talking to each other that same way.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's my
They're
thought.
talking. I love it. They're talking in the chat and I want to make sure. So Lee says parents, siblings, and family. Okay. And Tamara says, I feel parents indirectly teach that. All right. And Sharon, one of the Lockley sisters, she said, hello, Queens. Hoping your week it was great and blessed. Yes, yes, yes. We're speaking it. Um, okay, so who taught you directly or indirectly to question your worth? Yeah, I think I'm gonna still go with relationships. Uh, because I think your parents can teach you, directly speak life into you, do all of those things, and then you go out into the world and you think everybody sees you from that same lens. And then sometimes we're like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean you don't see me in that same light that these people over here told me I was worthy of, and you don't see what I think you should see? And I'm thinking when you're younger, you're not really able, it's your first experience. So
Hmm.
it may make you feel a little off balance. So yeah, that's kind of my thought. It's my
Yeah,
season
no,
says
I can definitely,
yeah, I think that's the yeah.
I can definitely receive that. And as you were speaking, it made me think about like my dad and my mother telling me who I am, just making sure I was very self assured, so that when I did go out in the world and other people had their commentary, I had something to gauge it against. Like I didn't have to accept what I heard outside. But I definitely can relate to your point, because sometimes those outside voices weigh heavier in opinions than the ones that we hear at home, like you said, because your parents love you and think you're wonderful most of the time. Could be lying. So you get out in the mix of other people, you find out you're not so great. So yeah, I see that mix. I see that.
So hey, so Maple Spears, my big sister, is in the building. She said, hey, my sisters. All right. So again, we're talking about the topic is, am I enough? Am I enough? So Lady Dawn, let's take it away.
Well, it's funny that segment leads into the next question, which is when we start questioning, am I enough in relationships? As you were
You okay?
talking,
You
am
cleared your
I?
throat. You all right over there?
Um, Mondays are always a very transformative night. It just, just saying. So I want you to think about these things before before I put some questions up. When you think about, am I enough in relationships? Is it feeling like you have to earn love? Have you ever been there? Over giving to be accepted. Have we ever gone there? Fear of abandonment or rejection. I think we've all been there. And staying in relationships where you are not valued. I'm sure we all have had that experience. So we can definitely relate there. But think about these things. And oh, this is a good one. Dating after divorce. Yeah, I had to breathe on that. I had to breathe on it. Dating after divorce or long-term relationships. Um, think about these things as we're considering, am I enough? So I would ask, considering those things, what are some signs that someone truly values you? If we're considering some of the thoughts that we put up a few moments ago, what are some of the signs that come to you that show you or that indicate that a person really values you? What say you,
Mm.
Dr.
Now,
E?
I would say consistency. I would say is someone consistent in being present. Those are signs that someone truly values you. If they're checking on you, I think, if there's a gentleman and he's interested in you, he's going to make time. I don't care how busy he may be, he's going to make time. And I'm only speaking from a female male. Of course, women will do the same. But looking at men and from me as a lead, as the leader, he's going to make time. He's going to make sure you're okay. And it doesn't mean it's monetarily, and that could be it too, but that's not the only piece of it. They're going to make sure you're okay. How are you feeling? How was work? And it's not just like, oh, I can only see you. I'm gonna say this only because I saw a meme, a woman at the ATM machine because it's tax season. you know
Mm,
or there's something that he wants to just get from you. So I do believe that some of the signs is consistency, um and trying to understand where you are as a woman. What do you think? And they talking in the chat,
I
so
like
I
that.
want I want to hear what you want to say, and then we're going to get to the chat.
All right. Well, I'm a good. You know what? Let's read the chat first, and then I'll share what my thoughts are.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna make sure you
Jackie
get to
says,
chat it.
no, and make sure you hit that like button while you're chatting. She says, I would suggest no matter how equipped you may be, the world in general can be a hard teacher. Absolutely. So, yeah, you think you wonderful and great, and then there's someone greater and wonderful ish that your parents didn't prepare you for. Jackie
Mm-hmm.
also says, once you leave your parents' home, you start to see the world as it really is. And that's when self doubt can occur. Right. I mean, it's like, to me, I think about the high school athlete. He was the greatest, in his school, and then he went off to college and realized all the greatest in every school is on the same field. And now you start to say, wait a minute, I'm not, you know, I'm not the star. Everybody on this team was a star in their school. So now the competition or the level of your game has to be higher to be the best in this new arena. So that's a great point. And Debbie says, I think there are many contributing factors to include, but not limited to social societal norms, family, etc. Then they may morph into low self-esteem and questioning self-worth. No one is born, and she finished it down below. Nope, let's finish Debbie's thought.
Oh, I thought you were sorry.
At the bottom. She says, no one is born with, no, if you go further down, nope. I'll
Mm-hmm.
read it. So she just says, no one is born with this mindset. Societal norms have definitely contributed to our sense of enoughness as Black folks and Black women specifically. So I think that's a great point. Society, your family could tell you, and especially, let's just talk about it, the realness of Black women. You can say you're great, you're wonderful, but society has already put a stigma to Black women, put us in, especially I'm thinking, I mean, now I don't think it's as well, I don't know with this administration, but it's been a difference of how my parents or grandparents grew up, where it was like you're only good for cooking, cleaning, and these things, and they put you in this box. So as much as your parents could tell you you're great, you're wonderful, society says no, you're nothing but this. So I think that is a great point. Thank you, Debbie. Lee says, all of the above for me. However, as I navigate in my healing journey, I know that I was perhaps too much. My internal feelings of not being enough resulted in me doing over and beyond. Okay. And that's good that we can recognize those things. And Mama Rose, hey, Mama Rose, go ahead, Lady Dawn B.
Hi, mommy.
She
I'm gonna
calm
be
today.
gentle tonight.
Okay. She says, good evening, ladies. Just wanted to wish you a great show. Homework is my portion, but I didn't forget to hit that like button. We like it. We like it while you go get to that homework. All right.
You go. I'm so proud of you. Let's see where are we at.
And
Here we
Mike
go.
says, at Elaine, great analogy. Thank you. I try. And the other part of the Lockley sisters, hey, Gail, she said, good evening, ladies. So if you're catching up with us, tonight's topic is, am I enough? And the question which Lady Dawn raised, what are signs that someone truly values you? So Lady Dawn, tell us your thoughts.
Well, I'm just kidding. Honestly, my thought on what I've learned to be a sign, or I've learned to appreciate that someone truly values me, is when they take the time to get to know me. You know, when a person really invests in who you are and getting to know who you are, because you can't value me if you don't know me. Because the more that you learn me, the more that you'll understand who I am, what I bring, what I carry, what my hopes and dreams are, what makes me laugh, what makes me smile, what makes me cry, where I'm sensitive, and when I'm strong, when I'm moody, all the above. But I've learned that for me, oh, that's that's really we
Okay. So, hey, Dr. Shana. Dr. Shana will be on next week for He Says, She Said. But she says tonight, healing begins the moment you stop asking if you are enough and start living as though you already are. Okay. Thank you. And then she says, true growth begins the moment you stop asking if you are enough and you start living as though you are. All right. And I think something else you said, Lady Dawn, if I could just kind of go with that question, what are some signs? As you were talking, I thought about um, the person actually listening to you. Because a lot of times people are talking, but they're not listening, or they're hearing you, but they're not listening to you.
mm-hmm.
So can you recall or go, oh, I remember you didn't like so and so, and you're like, oh, you were actually listening? Because I think that's usually women listen more intently. Not all men, so don't get it, but most men don't really listen. You know, I'm sorry. Uh, but if they care for you or they're interested, I think
I love it.
they are more intentional about hearing what you like and what you don't like. All right. Okay. And you
I
got a big
agree.
amen. That's like a hallelujah church amen
So
at Lady Dawn.
I'll take I'll take it. I'll take it. But so that kind of segues into the next question that I have, and then Dr. E, take it away. But with understanding a person, or finding out what those signs are that when a person truly values you, and if we understand those signs, then the next question I would ask is, have you ever felt like you had to prove your worth in a relationship? If you know
Wow.
what the signs are that you're truly valued, or someone truly values you, have you ever felt like you had to prove your worth in a relationship? What's up, chat? While Dr. E is thinking and sharing and
Right. Help me out, chat, so I can think a little longer. Have I ever felt like I had to prove my worth in a relationship? I'm gonna say the answer is yes. I would say, early, not now, but earlier, yes, I have. I've been there where I felt like I had to prove my worth, or I had to prove that, I'm enough, or da 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 da. And it was a learning lesson. Um, and it was in an area that was kind of uncomfortable, because I'm like, I don't, you think about who you feel you are, going back to that. Your parents tell you that, whatever. Now you come into a relationship and you trying to figure out, like, is this how this works? I'm not sure how this works. And looking back, saying, yeah, I think I was doing too much. So, yes.
yeah. Uh, I
What
love that.
about
And I can definitely agree and concur, and being transparent, because y'all know that's what I do. I would say yes. In the majority of my relationships, now here's the kicker though. In the majority of my relationships, I have felt like I had to prove my worth, but not because they asked me to. They never made me feel like I wasn't worthy, but that was a me thing.
mm-hmm.
Like they never made me feel like I had to earn my right to be with them or be next to them or just be, but I, for whatever the reason, felt like I had to keep showing them who I was, so that they would understand my value. And that probably came from leading back to something Michael McDonald said about insecurities, which come up or came up at that time for me because of comparison.
Mm. Okay.
And that was long ago. I'm reformed now. I'm reformed. We don't do that.
So,
Um, but that's the for me. So what about you guys?
well, while the
Good, Dr.
chat
E.
is
I'm sorry.
thinking, but I wanted to ask, like, comparison in which way? In which way? Was it like family, friends, social media? Like, what were? And if not, you could plead the fifth if you don't want to have
Um,
this conversation.
oh no, I'm reformed. So so I'm okay with sharing now. Might help somebody. Honestly, I realized that it came from the fact that I realized that most men don't feel appreciated. They feel underappreciated, not heard, and not seen. A lot of, can't say all, I'm not saying everyone, but because of that, it was, I would say, maybe comparing myself to the people that they were with in the past, trying to show them that I'm them, you, or I love you because of you. Not just because of how you make me feel, but I want to love you so that you can see how it feels to be loved from an unconditional space. I hope that makes sense. Because
Okay.
that is it was the comparison of that.
Okay. I got it. Well, Dr. Shayna is in.
Don't y'all follow after me though, because I don't do that no more.
Dr. Shayna said, growth often happens in the spaces that make us most uncomfortable. That is absolutely true. It. I truly appreciate the transparency, ladies. Right on point. Thank you. All right. So again, tonight we are talking about Am I Enough? And if you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button. Please and thank you very much. I told you hit the like button, subscribe so you know exactly when we're coming on. And we love super chat. So if you want us to read your comment first, give us a super chat.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a little shift, a shift from a thought, because we talked about the reasons why or some of the things that made us feel a certain way. So I want us to shift a little bit. I want us to shift our thinking from am I enough to I am enough, right? Because those are two different mindsets. You know, am I enough? You're
Very
questioning
much so.
to I am enough. So one, I want to go, for many of you, I have the EMS methods. If not, you can check out my website, emsmethodsinc.com. But from this, the three things that EMS stands for is empowerment, motivate, and succeed. So I want to go with empowerment. So when we're thinking from am I enough to I am enough, the empowerment part is recognize your inherent value. So if I understand I am valuable, I understand that I am worthy of all good things coming to me, right? If the motivation aspect is stop waiting for permission to fully show up. Now, I love this whether it is in a relationship, in a professional setting, and we talked a little bit about this last week when I was talking about show up like your ancestors sent you. Because when you enter into a room or when you enter into a space, you enter with a different authority because you're not just showing up in your strength. You're showing up in the strength that was given or passed along to you. And showing up fully doesn't mean being loud, because sometimes
Mm.
people say, well, I showed up, and I said, no, that's not what it means. Because I often say, even, this is Women's History Month, and I honor my mom, because I always say she taught me quiet strength. You don't have to be loud to be strong.
Mm.
You don't have to be loud to be seen.
That's good.
So there is something about showing up fully and not waiting for permission, but also not acting out because I want to be seen. So that right there, I
Mm-hmm.
think that is, like, as they say, period, full stop. So stop waiting for permission to show up fully. And then the success part is operate from worth, not insecurity. Because if I don't think I'm enough, I've done the internal self-defeat. And so before anyone could tell me that, I have already walked in and I'm waiting for you to agree with the thought that I think I'm not enough. But if I start to think from the space and place that I am worthy, I operate in that, then I go back to something we talked about last week, right? I don't chase, I attract. I don't have to chase my blessings, they will chase me, right? Even from a biblical standpoint, what do they say? It will overtake you. So if I understand my worth,
Mm-hmm.
then I know how to, as they say in church, govern yourselves accordingly. So they talk about that. Let's see what they saying. So Jackie says, I got some hand claps there. She says, totally agree with that, Dr. Elaine. Thank you, Jackie. And Reginald, Mr. Aloha, says some very good points, ladies. Well, we thank you, sir.
We trying. We trying.
And Lee says, one of the best gifts I received in the last few years was a ring that says, I am enough, from one of my closest girlfriends. Every day I look at my ring and I am reminded of what I know. And I love that because we talked about last week affirmations and putting things. I have things on my mirror. You're going to go in the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
put it on the mirror so you can remind yourself of who you are or what is it that you want out of life so that you can speak life to yourself. Because sometimes I think we're waiting on other people when we have to be the first partakers of the fruit and say, I am enough, I am worthy. And whatever it is that you want to begin to speak it, right? So what you speak is what you eat. If I eat self-doubt, then I will manifest self-doubt. But if I speak I'm worthy, then everything will align because my words carry weight. That's right there. My words carry weight. I don't need, yeah. Yeah, that's right there. So what I want us to understand, yeah, because sometimes you say something and it hits you in a whole nother way. That was just right there. That was one.
Yeah.
So a key point, Tiff says, hey, Tiffany, thank you for joining us. She says, I agree 100%. Validation has to start with self. Absolutely. So a key point is your value is not determined by who stays and who leaves, who promotes you or who overlooks you. And I think that's key because we're like, oh, if he likes me, and then it's like, oh, I'm not worthy because he thought
Mm-hmm.
somebody else was prettier or whatever the case may be. And then it's not about who leaves because, I mean, I'm seeing it as it was God's divine time for them to exit stage left and they were not in that next chapter of
Right.
your life. Um, And it's not determined by who stays either. Just because you stayed, that didn't mean you determine my worth or am I enough. I think we have
That's
to look
right.
at it from another perspective and be able to say, whether you leave, you stay, you go, you undecided, I am still enough. I am still valued. I am still worthy. I am who, and I'm gonna say this, I am who God has created me to be with or without you. Now you can get on board and ride this favor train, or you can get left behind. Choo choo, because the train is leaving the station.
Come on.
So,
Come on.
what are your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. I firmly believe that we say this often. Everybody's not meant to go with you on every leg of the race, every bit of your journey. We outgrow spots just like we outgrow shoes. We can outgrow people at particular spaces of our lives. You know, here we go. Our circles have to change in order for us to fully become who we're supposed to be. And the truth is, I was trying to be gentle tonight. Everybody can't handle me. Everybody can't handle you. Everybody's not built to handle the fullness of who you are. Like everybody can't deal with doing full throttle, you know. Um, and that's
Dawn
okay.
2.0.
But it doesn't take away. Listen, and I'm okay with that, and it doesn't take away from my value, my worth, or my abilities. It's like, okay, it's too much for you. Sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. Find the table that serves in your portion size, and we're fine.
Right.
So I agree with, and I say that respectfully, but because I don't want to cut off parts of me anymore to fit into, that whole square peg in the round hole. I don't want to do that anymore. So I completely agree with this key point. I love it. Be you. Be all of you. Are they chatting? All right.
Jessica. Hey, Jessica. She said, Amen. And Lee says, knowing you are enough is also knowing that you don't have to dim your light or silence your voice. It's about being seen and heard in our positivity. You are enough just as you are. Yes. And Dr. Shana says, Amen. I got a church amen, the big letters. Dr. Elaine.
Come on.
And Lee says, one can possess both quiet strength and voluminous confidence. And Jackie says, Miss Tiffany, as much as I agree with you, we must keep in mind there are those who may not have gotten validation in childhood, thus affecting adulthood. I see a lot of that. Okay. And Dr. Shana says, yes, I need my shoes to fit comfortably at this point in my life. If you cannot handle it, kick rocks and with the big rocks, okay? And Tiff says, I like that. Find a table that serves your portion size. And Kathy said,
Yeah.
Amen, Lady Dawn. And Gail said, true that. And Tiff said, true at Jackie. I love the conversation. So I want us to think about this. We are created with purpose. And I think that's where everyone has to land. I was created with purpose. If I had to give you an affirmation, I am, I was created with purpose, not by accident. Even if your parents thought you were an accident, God did not think you were an accident. Because I was an oops baby. My parents was like, oops, guess what? But I understand they thought I was an accident, but I was necessary to God. Sometimes the question is, am I enough? Right? But rather I've forgotten who I am. Think
Mm.
about that. Sometimes we ask, am I enough? But is the real question, have I forgotten who I am? Me and my song. So right now I'm gonna have a Beyonce moment. When she said to the left, she said, I can have another you in a minute. The key thing, what she said, you must
What?
not know about me. Like have you forgot? Do
You
you
must
know who
not.
I am?
Let me introduce myself. My name
Right.
is.
Right. There you go. He says, let me reintroduce myself. So I love that. And I think that's the part. Did
Right.
I forget who I am, who I was created to be? Did I fall off of the track that I was supposed to go on because I didn't have my horse blinders on where I stayed focused and I was so busy looking left and right and not grabbing hold to who I'm meant to be. So sometimes we got to look and be like, who are you? Did you forget? All right. Wait, I think this is very
I'm the
interesting.
one, not the two.
Right. Uh, Jackie said, and I want to kind of go down. She says, I'd like to hear from the men, their perspectives of women on this subject. So, gentlemen, if you in, I'm hearing a challenge in the chat. Chime in and let us know what you're thinking. Listen, phone a friend if you need if you need some help. All right. I know there's some gentlemen here, so just chime in. Chime in. And Tiff says a song I've been drawn to this year that speaks to knowing your worth. Already Her by Nova Soli. I hope I'm saying it right. It's definitely my
Mm-hmm.
theme song of 2026. I think
Mm-hmm.
it'll definitely inspire you all as well. So I got to check it out. We got to check it out. All right. So, Lady Dawn, let's give some affirmations while we're waiting on the men to chime in if they dare.
Square your shoulders back after you listen to it. All right. So As soon as we stop spinning. Okay, there we go. So, chat, listen, this is an amazing talk, and we hope that you walk away with the gems that you need. So, the affirmation that I would like for us to repeat is, and I love this, it's this one I needed for myself. I am enough without over explaining myself.
So I'm just going to repeat it. I am enough without over
Put
explaining
it on a
myself.
post it, stick it in your fridge, get some index cards, send yourself a voice note.
I love it.
That's right.
And
Y'all
I'm
repeat, I am enough without over explaining my stuff. I'm going to let that breathe. Get it to you, Dr. E.
all right. So I'm going to say I am enough without shrinking my voice. It's like I said what I said. I do not have to shrink. I am enough without shrinking my voice. Lady Dawn, I don't know if you're spinning or not. I think she's frozen. So I'm going to take hers.
I am.
Oh, you back? Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So the last
Who
one.
knows for how long?
Well, okay. As they say, true that.
So
Um,
I say, I am
yeah.
enough in love,
I don't know if they
in
heard you.
leadership,
Okay.
and in purpose.
I'm
Do
just
one.
going to repeat it. I am enough in love, in leadership, and in purpose. So take these affirmations, and I'm
I don't
just
know if
going to
you can hear
repeat them.
me.
Yeah, you're going in and out, but I'm just going to repeat all three of the affirmations. I am enough without over explaining myself. I am enough without shrinking my voice. I am enough in love, in leadership, and in purpose. Wait, we do have a gentleman who is commenting. So let's bring up Mike's comment. So, Mike, he says, I don't mention questions. Oh, I don't, I guess he said men question themselves as much as women on this particular subject. So he doesn't think that men question themselves as much. Okay. And maybe they should, you know? Um, and then Jackie says, the men are quite vocal on Michael Baisden's men point of view as he directs his questions to both sexes, so that men and women, okay, are having the conversations back and forth. So Mike says he doesn't think that men really ask this question to themselves as much. But it does mean when you say as much, it means that that question is being asked by some men. Lady Dawn, I don't know if you're frozen or not, but that's okay. All right. Again, tonight we were talking about, or we are talking about, am I enough? And shifting from am I enough to I am enough, right? Because we don't want to stay in this state, but we wanted to make sure that we have some positive affirmations, some different ways of thinking, because it doesn't matter. You could feel like I'm 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 killing the game at work, but when it comes to my love life, I'm having a hard time, or vice versa. My love life is fine, but when it comes to my career, I feel like I'm not enough. Or maybe you can feel a sense of balance of how do I improve? So I may feel like I'm okay in the love area of a relationship, my career, but how do I improve in not shrinking my voice in the room or comparing myself to uh, when things happen? I don't know if you're back with us, Lady Dawn, or not. So,
I don't know.
okay, yes, you are, because we can hear you.
Like
And
I
I
got
think about that. I think about that often from a professional standpoint. I've been in spaces where people would say things, and to your comparison, they'd be like, "Oh, you were really like so and so." And a lot of times I've been in spaces where I'm the only one who looks like me. So when they're telling me I would really like so and so, I already know that so and so is a black woman. So you just automatically think that I would like so and so. And so I've learned to be like, okay, I already know that's like keyword clue, read between the lines. So I'm expecting someone who looks like me that you think we should get along. And not that they're not wrong, but it also tells me how people think. All right. So my sister in love is in the building. She said, Angela Dawson, all the way from Florida. She said, hello, sister in love and Lady D. So as we wrap tonight, I want us to remember this. The right people in your life personally and professionally won't make you question your worth. What will they do? They will recognize it. When the right people come into your life, what they actually will do, they will see things in you that you didn't see in you for the greater good. They will push you into the next level of you and support you, and they can support you quietly. They don't have to be loud. So tonight, stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start walking. As Lady Dawn B would say, square your shoulders. Start walking like you already know the answer. So again, thank you for tuning into Mondays Beyond the Mic. I ask that you have a great weekend. We will see you next week because next week is going down. Mike is going to be on the panel. Dr. Shayna is going to be on the panel. We have Tony. He's going to be on the panel. We're going to have some he said, she said, and we're going to talk about this scrolling on social media, not just scrolling. Is it all right to go through each other's phones? We're going to talk some privacy and communication. You know, we breaking some laws while we talk, while we're dating. Um, I already know he said, she said is always a great opportunity to hear. As Jackie said, having the opportunity to hear both sides, what men and women think on a topic. I want to get to these last comments before we say goodnight. Uh, Angie said, Amen. And Lee said, great convo. We are enough. And Nadine said, thank you for tonight's conversation. And Sharon said, sweet dreams and blessings to a good week. And Jackie said, great topic and dialogue. And with that being said, like I said, next week, it is He Said, She Said on the panel. And if you have not already, please get your copy of I Am a Woman with Issues, but I Still Qualify. You can get it on Amazon,
still.
or you can DM me, and we or go on Harlem Girls website and you can get the book. And not next week, but the week after next, we will have a panel called The Pen and the Panel. So we're going to start talking about this book and how it's going to help us, because it blessed me. Even though I wrote it, I had to reread it, and I was like, girl, look at God. So anyway, join us next week for He Said, She Said. Thank you for joining us on tonight. Have an amazing week, and good night.
Good night.
All I do is try to construe